Let's see what's happening for sure. Cyn, welcome from Freedom Philosophy. I just want to make sure everything's green light. I'm gonna check my computer. I think we are.
Let's go.
Oh yeah. We're green. We are golden. Okay, cool. So it looks like it's just you and I.
Are you in black?
Green light. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is Pernell Bobby, your astrotherapist. Okay, helping you to alleviate suffering, all while leveraging astrology. And today we have more elements that we're going to be able to leverage, more tools that Cyn will bring in. Kind of starting us off with a meditation. I'm going to actually show you why this is super duper important today. So for now, I'm going to save the theatrics, and I'm not going to tell you what this dragon is about yet. All right. But we also do have a couple of angels. So I'm going to later in the day, okay, give you all a treat and just do an angelic / dragon Reiki. All right. A little combination of both. Today is Reiki. Cyn is one of our Reiki practitioners in general. All right. Working with Freedom Philosophy. She's definitely going to introduce herself and say, what about Freedom Philosophy do you need to know? Why is it important? How is it here to support the collective? But even beyond all that, we're going to get into some fun, funky topics that, needs more love, like mediumship as one of them, ancestral gifts, no longer just looking only at the curses that we've been given, but the gifts. And so there's a lot of magic happening. All right. There's a lot of magic happening. We got so much we want to share. Cyn, you want to introduce yourself and what is Freedom Philosophy about? How are you here to support with that cause?
Yes, I'm so excited to share. So I am Cyn Marie. I am in Raleigh, North Carolina, and I am just so excited to be here today with you to share this space. A little bit about me. I have been on a journey, as we all have, of just self-awakening and self-exploration. And I have found the beautiful practice of Reiki and shadow work and ancestral healing through mediumship and all the different modes of healing, just through self-awareness and self-discovery. That was the rooted intention that brought me to sort of learn these disciplines and these practices. I never expected to serve and collectively support communities in that way. But as the healer journey goes, as you start to unfold your own healing, it just starts to attract in that abundance of serving your community. And so I am the founder of Freedom Philosophy Collective. We are a nonprofit that helps support people on their healing journey, both from a space of offering accessible programs and services, but equally a community that supports you and celebrates you where you are and helps you become radically free. And freedom is a paradigm. It is your philosophy to choose. And so that's one of the things that I love to help people explore is, what does it mean to be free? And how do you ride the waves of figuring out how to refine that philosophy throughout the journey of your life? I'm excited to start today just with a meditation for everybody, talking about tools, right? One of the best tools that we have is the ability to take a moment and center ourselves and connect with the present moment. And so wherever you are in time and space, wherever you have been throughout your day, the moment is now. So we're going to call ourselves in, draw ourselves in, and center through awareness of breath and connecting with our hearts. So go ahead and wherever you are, get comfortably seated. It's only going to be a moment to just connect with our hearts and to connect with ourselves in center. And so I invite you to soften your gaze, close your eyes, turn your landscape inward to the inner body, and just start to notice your breath. You can take a nice cleansing breath in through the nose and an audible sigh out through the mouth. And do that 2 more times at your own pace. Last time. And just feeling, returning to normal breathing, how your body is already starting to get warm with that invitation of just connecting with your breath and giving it space. And take your awareness to wherever you feel your breath most, whether that's right at the nostrils or at the chest or at the belly. Just start to notice where you feel your breath in your body. Connecting with that space. Call in to that space the source of unconditional love that surrounds you in time and space. Activate from within the unconditional love that you supply to this world, and feel that harmony of your inner and outer reality. And I invite you to, in this moment, as you're feeling your body and you're feeling this inner and outer harmony of unconditional love, to call into your heart anything that you need most in this moment. Placing a hand on your heart to just feel yourself here in time and space. You can open your eyes and come back to us and just see where you are and feel just more centered and warm and connected. I don't know about you, but I just called into myself the ability to just celebrate this moment of connection, that I've met you in Mexico and that technology has given us the ability to connect in this way and celebrate, but also the community that you and I are building together. And so when I called in and asked myself what I needed most today, it was celebration of this moment and this experience. And hopefully the collective feels that as well.
Super dope. For me, it was my breath was saying that my spine actually needed some more air to like just come up and through more freely.
Yeah. Yes. I love that.
Absolutely. Super dope. No, thank you for that tremendously, because you definitely already set us off on the right tone. And if I'm being honest, like 2-3 hours ago, I was already like, I'm excited for when we get to do that opening breath work coming in, that meditation with Cyn. I was already like, ooh, I'm feeling it a little bit. I'm a little erratic today in general. Like I feel that energy. Wonderful.
Yeah.
But I'm also feeling kind of really homey and not actually very like social. That's the irony, right? Like I'm more like, I am feeling much more inward. So that helped.
Good. And yeah, throughout our day, we lose so many parts of ourselves and we give it away to others. And so this was a moment to just call back into yourself and center yourself. That's such a big aspect of the work that we teach at Freedom Philosophy, is we give away so many parts of ourselves. How do we make sure we're bringing that back in and charging ourselves, not just from within, but through receiving from the collective? And this is a form of receiving for me, getting to share space with you. So I appreciate you, and I'm excited to dive in.
Super dope. So what I'm going to do is, if you all check, you will see the website pinned up at the top of the comments and the chats. As you already know, definitely hit the thumbs up, definitely throw some love and appreciation, but go check that pinned comment, okay, at the top of the chat, and you'll see the Freedom Home Philosophy and everything that they're representing, a lot of things that Cyn is saying. I know that she also does her own Reiki sessions as well, all right, which I'm going to ask you a little bit more about your own Reiki journey and like what can people do on their own, if just from even some starter level Reikis, if people are not familiar. So I'm definitely ask that soon. But she does have these donation-based Reiki classes that are part of Freedom Home Philosophy. Highly recommend you just check it out. I mean, hit the link. It can't hurt you at the bare minimum. Allow today to kind of just prove further and further, because we have a Scorpio Rising here, myself. You got Cyn representing that Scorpio Rising wave. Scorpio 12 houses. I see somebody already in the chat saying, what a lovely day, saying that they got that same exact placement. What's up, Pharaoh? Good to see you. Actually, I'm sorry, I missed all of y'all. I was definitely all in my own space.
That's what centering does, yo.
That's what it does. So I definitely missed all of that. Like, I'm like, oh. So what I kind of want to do from here, and like I said, a little bit later, I am going to do Reiki with y'all. I want to just let y'all know a little bit of what the guiding energy was off the rip for my people that do understand tarot, for people that are connected with dragon energy, angelic energy. For starters, this was the first that pulled up, and Lyra is a constellation. Okay, it's about 425 or 450 light years away, so it's very far, quite frankly. But this is focusing on a lot of what freedom philosophy talks about. So they're teaching and bringing the Western and the Eastern medicines together, right? Mm-hmm. And part of that is them learning about the chakra systems. Mm-hmm. Now, the base chakras in Western culture only really goes from 1 to 7, and we stop at the crown. This one is actually already starting on the causal chakra, which is the 8th chakra, right? It's on the right side of your temple, about 4 inches above your head or so. So a little bit higher than the crown. And it's actually a divine feminine energy. It's actually like Christ consciousness. So when I say Christ consciousness, it's not something to get too confused with religion, but rather like in some original pictures, if you look at Jesus, he had like a halo pictured in his pictures. And that was really part representation of the causal chakra and just the connectedness with the divine. But this is a lot of feminine energy. So what I'm already getting as a part of this guide, we're going to talk mediumship and ancestral, lineage and how it's already been informed and it's kind of reinforming us, right? This essentially is that transmission from third density, third reality into the 5th, into the 5D, right? And they're converging. So it's not even a process that we have much of a choice. If I'm being honest, it's kind of like get on board or die in a way. It's kind of
roller coaster ride.
just ride the wave, you know what I mean? So when I see this, it's one of the things that I am going to call this dragon during our Reiki session. So I just want you to take a visual look at it because you'll likely feel the presence of this. It connects a lot to Piscean energy, which again, I pulled this today, right before the live. That's 12th house in astrology, right? Pisces energy, it's this creator energy, it's this alchemist energy. So it does say develop your causal chakra and bathe in 9th dimensional Christ light, right? So this is kind of working with like Archangel Christiel, if anybody's familiar with that. Long story short, it's just working with the moon, okay? The moon, as well as Lyra, this constellation, which essentially is the size of our sun. So imagine how much energy our own sun produces. Like this is the same sort of conscious energy. And it's asking us to release some of the masculine pull and focus, especially toxic masculinity, especially that. And it's asking us to invite more divine feminine light and to actually bathe in that, especially when we think about business, which is a lot of what I'm making shifts for when it comes to like memberships and community, more basic driven communities. Cyn is doing that with what she created with freedom philosophy, same concept. And we're a prime example I had about this was yesterday, right? I had a member of one of my other backdoor communities, the Abundant Reality. So shout out to all of y'all, where, somebody was like, look, I need to make about $600 before next Tuesday. And I'm just in this position right now. And it was so beautiful where I think like 30, 40 minutes later, she was down about $400. She only had about $200 left. And it was like in 30, 40 minutes. And this is what I mean about like Age of Aquarius, the golden age coming. It's social currency, right? It's like, it's almost like trading and bartering. It's like going back to the old systems in a way, which are just more aligned energetically with wealth. Because if I think about like what messages have been coming through me through dreams and just collective dream work and mediumship, which is what we're going to talk about. I want to hear more about it from Cyn too. It's really shaping like the revival, if you will, of social currency. This is what Aquarius is bringing into play. But in order for us to get there, we have to almost surrender and let go of how we look at money and understand it more as an energy. Okay, understand it more as something that it's not about a physical dollar. It's about exchange of energy, which Scorpios we just do. So this is kind of like we already on the wave on a network. It's just exchanging energy, not necessarily a dollar. And as we bring in this more feminine energy from the moon's feminine energy to just really embrace us and kind of hold us, especially around any wounds, around betrayal, and allowing ourselves to actually grieve and realize that you can grieve and grieve in your own time, your own space. And it doesn't have to, no one else has to impact that. Your grieving could be very much more relevant for you as an individual and not everybody. And, so that's one thing coming. And the last 2 angels that I got were actually very powerful angels. One represents the Hermit. This is out of the 72 angels. If you look like Kabbalah and stuff like that, this is number 70. So it's really at the end of the line. And this is the card right before the Wheel of Fortune in tarot, but this is the Hermit. So it's asking us again to step inward, to introspect. The same feeling that Cyn allowed us to embrace as we stepped into this today with that meditation is the energy of the Hermit. Introspect, go inwards, heal, recognize and embrace what your inner reality is like, what it's asking of you. If it asks you to rest, but you're supposed to work, recognize that like that's the masculine pole saying what you're supposed to do is stay driven and focused and logical, and rather the feminine is just saying embrace the wave. So that's that. And the last one, as I give it back to Cyn, is this 4 wands, which one of them is like community energy. It's like finding fortune through through magnetism of feminine energy. And I say magnetism, so I think feminine, we're talking attraction, like magnetic pull, so pulling the resources to you that you need. Right? Communities that are involved in supporting, you know, that supporting the masculine focus and direction, but in a feminine way, right? Adding in that touch that's soft and nurturing and compassionate with the entire process. And Mahasaya is this angel, and actually this is one of my personal angels. When I pulled it, it's like we already connected. Like Mahasaya is representing harmony and balance. Really, it's one of the seraphims, if you know of the angel hierarchy. And yeah, it just has rectification. It helps one live in peace with everyone. And this Hermit card is a card of alchemy, transformation, rules natural events, and helps with spiritual progress, which is everything that finally this dragon is asking for and guiding us through by removing some of the toxic masculine energy and implementing some of the positive feminine energy. Not that either one of those are negative or positive, but just that we're making shifts.
Yes, creating that balance and harmony. We started with that harmony of just inner unconditional love and the source that's from within, and connecting with that unconditional love that surrounds us. And it's all about that balancing and that harmonization. And collectively, as you mentioned, as we're integrating into the 5th dimension, which hands up, roller coaster ride, right? We're on it. There's no slowing this thing down. It's allowing, and that feminine energy is surrendering and just embracing, going back to the magnetism, just being attracted to it and celebrating it and feeling through it. One of the beautiful things from my journey that really lands with what you just shared is the community that freedom philosophy is and what we're cultivating. That community is flourishing and thriving because it is its own source of attraction and harmony, because it is a community of serve and be served, where there is this harmony of people who get to show up and receive and give, and that balancing and harmonization that is so critical to this journey that we're on. Because we come from this collective space where we are just one, and we choose to come here to separate, to go through this soul level work. And so as we're going through this reconnection with self, reestablishing sort of this community, I love just how much that resonates and how those cards just pulled and came to us to form this sort of cohesion with what we're talking about today.
Super.
Yeah.
Super. I was trying to, apparently nothing had a moment of disconnect. So that is what it is. So I guess we'll go into this. What I want to ask now then, while that finds its way back to life, is so what is mediumship for you? You know, I feel like a lot of us have heard this word. We've heard mediumship. I mean, we could take a lot of guesses, a lot of stabs, but like as a Scorpio rising, you know, somebody with 12th house planets, what is mediumship for you? Because I know that you can see into these other worlds, which has this Piscean energy, okay, but you're able to dive deep. You're able to actually embrace what seems to be the most painful, the most traumatic from an ancestral level, especially, and ultimately end and release that karma, finally put it to a close in a peaceful and in a harmless way, which Mahasaya is here for as part of that guidance today. It's like bringing in the harmony, the rectification. So what is mediumship for you?
Yeah, so it shows up in a lot of different ways in my reality. And I think everyone taps into their abilities to be a medium of the physical world and the non-physical world, right? We all have different gifts and modes in which we connect. And so for me, it's multidimensional in the sense that there are specific tools that I use that help me connect with spirit. And then there are specific energies that support me in creating those sort of mediumship channels to be able to tap in and relate. When I first started on my mediumship journey, I remembered as a child, I was very connected. I could speak to angels. And when I would be at Catholic school, the nuns would tell me, no, you can't talk to angels. That's not true. You're lying. And so I learned to suppress my innate gift of being able to connect with angels. And so as I was moving through my healing journey, angels were the thing that really resonated with me, but they were also extremely triggering because I was fighting and resisting this construct of religion that had been imprinted on me. And so I started first with self Reiki. Reiki 1 was what I was most interested in because it started with this idea of connecting with self. And when I had my first attunement into Reiki, which was my initiation sort of into this practitioner space that I moved into, I immediately started to receive a flooding of noise, lots of noise that I could not decipher between my own inner wisdom and what was coming from outside of me. And so as I started to explore, what are these new downloads that I'm receiving? What are these impressions that are so deep, that are resonating with me? Where are they coming from? I started to explore, how am I connecting with these gifts, and what is it that mediumship is to me? And so I went and I had a couple of different mediumship teachers who taught me the sort of their way of connecting, whether they would go out in nature and connect to the shamanic ancestors who had been on earth before them and use those tools. I had connected with different angelic Reiki practitioners who worked with angels specifically to help guide people and support them in their journey. And I found that for me, mediumship was about being able to raise my vibration, talk about fifth dimension, raise my vibration high enough to tune into those frequencies, because they're all around us and we're always being guided and guiding. And so for me, when I started actually practicing Reiki, that was the way I was starting to understand my energy versus their energy, meaning the person that I was serving, and then collective energy. And so once I started to differentiate between energies and understanding how to tune into energy, I was able to start tapping into ancestors. First, those were the ones that started to appear to me first, because they just seem so comfortable, right? When you see a familiar face or a familiar energy, it resonates, right? So my dad, who had passed away on the other side, was one of the first people who came to invite me into my gift and tell me, hey, I'm here and you can connect with me in this way. Once I started to learn how to connect with my ancestors, the angels started to reappear. And throughout my journey, I had started to let go of some of those conditions and beliefs around religion and opened up to the philosophy of Christ consciousness and the truth around angelic energy and what angels truly mean. And so once I started to embrace the angels, I had Archangel Michael and my homies all with me, helping me, guiding me, supporting me. And then I landed into more of the shamanic energy and tapping in with ancestors who had passed, that had had all of this wisdom of the upper and underworlds, right? And so it became this unfolding. It wasn't at first, when I got my Reiki attunement, it was just all this noise and I had no idea how to channel it and how to tune it down, right? But once I started to embrace the gift, acknowledge the gift, connect with spirit in that way, spirit guided me into the other forms and measures of which you can connect with spirit. And then of course, the healer journey, we all teach what we most need to learn. So as I'm teaching people how to connect to their mediumship gifts, I'm learning my own and expanding my own. And now it fully comes through in all of the services that I do. I know immediately someone might come in and be like, I just want a Reiki session. I'm like, well, spirit's with you. Let's sit down and have a conversation. So those gifts, they don't go away. We just get to tap into them and tune them up. But it took me a while to learn how to integrate those gifts after years and years of suppressing it and not knowing how to tap into it for so long.
Yeah, that's a full vibe. It's a full vibe. You know, there's so many things that was running through me, and I was like, all right, Pete, come back, listen. And it run through, and it's like excitement, moments of excitement. It's like, all right, Pete, come back, listen.
That happens with us.
Oh my God, yeah. Yo, when I tell you, I've been seeing you a lot more, and I know we never actually met in person, but like,
right. Thank you, Sierra.
Thank you, Sierra. Right, Sierra is actually one of the people in the Abundant Reality. I see a couple of the Abundant Reality members in here. What's up, Jazz, Farrell, Brooke? I think Brooke was on the pull up too from your community, actually, from philosophy.
Hey.
And so, yeah, so many things are pulling up. And one, I'll text you because I have to send you something. But I just had to just remind me in case, because I'm telling you, there was like 90 bullet points that pulled up. Two, everybody in the chat, go ahead and just drop some hearts, show her father some love, and even send for the vulnerability that it takes. This is a part of what it means to have a 12th house. It's in the sun placement, right? So Scorpio 12th houses, you're here. We already know Scorpio is death, right? And transformation into the 12th being part of the law. So it's like, somehow, some way, this is why she did this, to make this blueprint, because it needed to unlock and bring her certain things. And you see a live example, because everybody in here, like I mean, the video is partially named Scorpio 12th house because it has so much to do with life and death and rebirth. And so it's like, but there's always blessings somewhere in the middle. Remind you, like, I want to remind people that whenever you have a 12th house placement, it always takes something, point blank period, but it always gives you more. So it's about learning how to see what more has been given, and also coming back to like, well, we asked for this, but why? You know, as we understand that, then things start to kind of clear up, and you know, we can see it a little bit more objectively and take the blessings, you know, like literally like receive it. Feminine energy helps us to do magnetize and draw in the blessing, magnetize and draw in the gratitude, so that we can see it and stop looking at certain things as mistakes rather than like, you know, moments of fate or destiny. Call it what you want. So thank y'all for the hearts. I still see y'all pulling up. I appreciate that energetically. I know she's getting that over. I want to check in with one of these big comments I see. I connect through hearing, feeling with past loved ones.
Ooh.
Of those who are presently transitioning, while the past loved one may be in limbo due to an attachment. Maybe you can comment on that, Cyn.
Oh yeah.
How do I enhance this gift? Yeah. I thank you. I want y'all to ask questions. Understand, like, we're not here to show you what we know, rather than to help guide you through this process. I mean, this is part of our personal mission. So I want to say, definitely keep sharing and asking questions. And Cyn, I'm gonna just say, can you see the comment at all by chance, or?
Me, I only see you on my screen. It's just me and you in this world.
I ain't mad at you. Here we go. So here's the question. It says, well, first it starts off more with a statement and it follows in with a question. It says, I connect through hearing and feeling with past loved ones of those who are presently transitioning, while the past loved ones may also be in limbo due to an attachment.
Yeah.
And this is a Pisces. I know she is a Pisces. So she asks, how do I enhance this gift?
Right. So if you can imagine, on the other side, they're doing their work, right? And they're having to break free from that attachment. And you might be that biggest source of that separation and that cord cutting that needs to happen for them to truly get onto the other side. So acknowledgement, first and foremost, that you are connecting with them. Anytime you, in the physical space, in this physical reality, make it known that they are present, they are here, and they are acknowledged, it enhances that ability to connect with them. They're always communicating with you in some form or fashion. So as they're trying to communicate with you, celebrate when they do. And when you can't get clarity, ask for clarity. So you mentioned sound and feeling. What supersedes? Do you hear a sound and then you feel the resonance in your body? Or do you feel the resonance in your body and start to listen, right? So start to recognize the way you respond to the cues and the messages that they're giving to you. Acknowledge them and say, thank you for communicating with me. I'm here to help and guide you as you are here to help and guide me. And then ask for clarity. If you can't hear what it is or feel what it is that they're asking of you, what they're needing from you, ask for clarity, because that's their work, learning how to communicate with you for what they need on the other side.
Wow, and I just typed that, so I got a step 1 through 4 process, at least from what I got. The fourth one I was typing too fast. Number 1 was acknowledgement, right? So it's acknowledge that they're there, that they're reaching out, that maybe you're reaching out, and like somehow, some way, this attachment has something to do with you, right? If you feel it already. Yeah. 2 is to celebrate, you know, their awareness, celebrate that you can actually speak back and forth with them through mediumship. Through ancestral, through lines of DNA and more, and celebrate that, everything about it, because that's a gift within itself, right? And then 3, and this is the big one, I've been focusing more and more on this for myself. 3 was ask for clarity, right? And that's a big one, because it's like I get these angel rings, and sometimes they knock me off my chair, like, and sometimes it's out of pure, and it used to be so confused. Like one time I was sitting in a chair, a high stool, not even kidding, just knocked me out of the screen, you know. I was all the way out of the movie. I was like, dang, like,
wow, y'all cracking it.
like I just failed in public. Like, what's happening here, right? And you know, everything prior to that specific ring of this instance I'm thinking about, this experience I'm thinking about, was like a warning, was actually like something like, hey, look, warning, don't go that way. But I was confused because this one was very different. And this one was one of the ones where, as I have clarity, it's like, no, we're excited that you finally stopped repeating that cycle and going that way.
Yeah.
So it was a big difference in the ring, right? And it's like, so I had to ask for clarity. So that might be an example from my own life of how through these channels, as you're communicating with whoever is acknowledged, whoever you're starting to celebrate, ask for clarity, you know. And what I kind of want to add in with that I found important, especially when I was doing lives in the beginning, so many people were channeling through me, and I was like, I would just be on a live just burping every 5 seconds. And it'd be like big ones. And it took me a while to realize, oh crap, like part of my ability as a Cancer in the 8th house, literally my Mars is like dealing with spirits, dealing with the nurturing, dealing with the feminine energy, the motherly energy, bringing in the healing, bringing in the nurturing for unconscious emotions of others.
Yeah.
And I had to recognize that this is a part of my like fated path, but I was able to, with asking for clarity, also ask for a modification in how I digested unconscious emotions and how I was able to clarify them for you. Yeah. So if you notice in the later lives, I don't really burp as much anymore because I was like, look, this is too much. Like, I'm like, some of these things are just huge. They're just massive. I'm like, my soul hurts from a burp. That's not okay. And so I asked, I was like, hey, look, can you switch it up? Can you like, you know, change it for me? And now, you know, there's two things that happen. One, I don't have it close. One, they guided me to make a bracelet with like yellow agate and tiger's eyes, where if put on the left side, all right, we talk about the tools. Yeah. Tiger's eye and yellow agate has the ability to help you to digest unconscious emotions. Yeah. So I literally handmade, so I made this one as well, but this has some, but this is different. This obviously you can see the amethyst and the carnelian on the other. Yep. And again, I put that in because what's happening? Yep. It's helping the guide from the intuition with the carnelian. A lot of the sexual traumas that people are from the internet, right? I'm like live talking to people. So many sexual traumas are coming through where I don't even know who's watching. A lot of times they're not even saying anything, but they're thinking something. They're pushing that message through the airway, where it's like, this helped me as well. Yeah. So it's like, ask for guidance, ask for clarity. That's so big because you're going to get an answer. And if you don't understand the answer you get or the way that they transmit it, it could be through birds, it could be through nature, it could be through so many things. You can ask for clarity and you can ask for them to change the message.
Yes, the change in the message is so powerful because sometimes they're like, oh yes, she gets it. I'm going to keep sending her ladybugs, or I'm going to keep sending 1111. And it's okay. I see you that you're trying to connect with me. Now, what are you trying to say? What are you trying to tell me? Like, help me connect with you. Help me understand how to work with the energy that you're presenting to me. And again, going back to how it makes you feel, it is very visceral. Going back to that, the person who said they hear and they feel, when you feel that, it is uncomfortable, right? And so finding ways to breathe into those moments, right? Breathe into those moments and allow yourself to say, I see you, I hear you, I feel you. Now guide me in ways to have better clarity on what you're bringing me. And when you get those clarity, whenever it is, however you get it, say, thank you. That was really helpful. Continue to do that. Affirm it again. Celebrate that it worked because they need that encouragement to keep going.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna type that as number 5. Affirm it again.
Yes, it's a cycle. That's the feminine energy, right? Go right back through the cycle, and it continues to spiral up and up, right? And as you continue to open your heart to your gifts, right? Because that's truly what it is. You're opening your heart to your gifts. You become attuned to that higher frequency to hear them more readily.
That is the Christ consciousness that I was speaking about while we're being asked to develop this casual chakra. Right. And to kind of bathe in exactly that 9th dimensional frequency that Cyn is talking about right now. It's critical. It's like I'm saying, in some way, shape, or form, it's a non-negotiable.
Yeah.
I mean, like, whether you're on board or not, you're going to be pulled along. And I just want to kind of like, without even like fear mongering, to be honest, I just do want to also remind, you know, whoever is on the other side who's waiting and who's holding their message or who's holding their voice or who's holding their gifts, that we're specks of dust. Okay. Like, this is going to happen with or without your permission. So it's almost like if you personally decide not to get on board, understand what we're saying. Like somebody else will take that place, which means that you might not be here in a physical body. And again, I don't say this to fearmonger. I just say this to say it's like, you came here with a responsibility and you made that choice. I came here with responsibility and I made that choice. I didn't have to come to Earth. So as you did, understand that, like, I say this to myself, I know that I am replaceable, quite frankly. It's like when it comes to the grand scheme, when it comes to like that Christ consciousness, it's like, think of it, if you think back with Jesus for just a moment, again, whatever you are thinking or understanding about religion, separate a little bit, detach a little bit from the religion itself. Expand, because this is what it's asking of us. It's asking us to expand our consciousness as a whole, and in such a divine way where we don't criticize the word itself, but rather take it and embrace it for what it is in its entirety, right? Where it's like, understand that, you know, what is it Jesus did is suffering on the cross so that you didn't necessarily have to. And so it's like, if you are one of these light workers, these light bearers, one working with mediumship, okay, working on the astral realms, astral planes, dream workers, if you are in these spaces, understand that, like, first off, the suffering that you see, that you connect with, is not all yours, for starters, right? Yeah. It's not all yours. And that's what Cyn had to say in the beginning. Like, it was about, and can you maybe help clarify for us, how do we better distinguish what is personal trauma, what is collective trauma? You know, how do we distinguish? How do we learn to not take in all and filter it?
Right. And it's exactly what we were just talking about with integration. It's both. Our personal traumas are all a collective source of healing. And when we're thinking about trauma on the individual level, right, we can be so connected and attached to those very personal experiences, right? Because we're feeling them very viscerally in a physical form. But as you can imagine, even the traumas of today are to help alleviate the traumas of our past lives and our past experiences, and not just our own soul's journey and the multiple iterations of evolution that we've come in and out of this world, but also our ancestors that we've been coming in and out to support throughout that journey, and the collective consciousness shifts that we've been needing to make. Some of us truly come on this earth as those light workers to do the heavier work. Not all of us in their soul journey are here to do that work, and that's okay. We all have a divine order and a divine purpose within this world that we're doing to help support the collective. And so sometimes even just explaining that to people can be so healing, because it lets go of that very deeply rooted personal connection to those really specific moments in time and space that truly were just a fraction of the human condition, right?
Fraction. That's the key, you know, because understand when we talk about, somebody asks what's Christ consciousness, and you had personal experiences with this while in school with nuns and more. So maybe you better elaborate. What is Christ consciousness?
Yeah. So if we can take aside the traditional teachings that we've heard from religion, and we look at who Jesus Christ, the human, the light worker, the ascended master is as a collective, that was a whole shift of reality, where similar to past lives, when we've had Egyptians who were on earth, and we've had the Anunnaki on earth, we had just so many different dimensions of ancestry here that have been on earth. It's just a whole evolution of consciousness that we've been living in and moving through over time. And so his teachings, if you can go back into his time and space when Jesus Christ was roaming this earth, were really specific to the traumas and the sufferings and the conditions that were happening then, right? As we start to move and recognize, like, what is Christ consciousness? What is this collective energy that we all are so deeply connected to, just with different dimensions and experiences, right? Because Christianity, if you think of it as a religion, has so many different dimensions to it as well. Catholics believe in Jesus Christ, right? So there's so many people who believe in Christ consciousness. It's just the different stories that have been told from different perspectives. If you look at the 12 apostles, that's 12 different reflections of Jesus Christ and what he did and their personal experience with those stories and those experiences. I really opened up my heart to Christ consciousness when I started to tap into the teachings of Mary Magdalene, who was his partner, his woman, that relationship, that cosmic masculine, feminine, balanced energy that comes from Christ consciousness, that a lot of us are missing that story. And so where I grew up in the times and space that I did, and through Catholicism and the teachings that I had, I recognized it felt like, okay, there's just so much missing.
Yeah.
And so I spent a whole journey. I spent 6 years in university studies because I was a business major, but I was all up in anthropology and religious studies. And I just started to unpack the true rooted story that religion is trying to teach. And so Christ consciousness, like I mentioned, we've got all these different ascended histories and lifetimes within the collective, our being, our consciousness as we've moved. Christ consciousness is just one dimension within the constructs of which that we've come on this earth to live through and heal.
Yes. Yeah. Sometimes you gotta pull the noise in. You gotta pull the sounds.
Whew. I gotta take a breath after that one.
Yeah,
Whew.
no, and this is what I was thinking about earlier when you were talking the first time, before you got into that wave, I was already feeling it. Honestly, like, um, every once in a while, there's a live, especially when I bring a guest on, that I feel way more restless because I know like certain lives that I do are not about anything other, quite frankly, than, oh shit, the frequencies, the waves, everything's about to shift once again. And it's like there's this anxiety almost, there's like this anxiousness of like, yeah, it's about to happen. Like
Mhm.
more people are about to just hit that process. One more, they about to just
Out of the chair like you did at school.
you know what I mean? They about to one more time transcend the next story. They're about to release a little bit more karma. And I want you to take a vote in the chat. There's a poll, so if you didn't see it yet, take a moment to vote in the chat. Whether you're in the process of releasing karma, whether you've been asked to take a step away to introspect and really abide by this hermit energy, or Yabamiya, okay, the 70th angel out of the 72, which is where the alchemy happens, right? It's like it's the breath between the breath, right? When I looked up the definition of philosophy, as Cyn was coming on Freedom Philosophy, it was the most basic understanding of it was the love of wisdom. Just philosophy as a root word, it's the love of wisdom, right? And a lot of us in here are Scorpio, so it is what it is, like, right?
What's up, homies? We got you.
So we just keep researching. It doesn't stop. It just, if anything, we get brain farts because there's too much research and we're just forced to just chill and again go hermit in our own ways. But understand, alchemy is that space where it's like, we're creating and manifesting realities like as like images of what that Christ consciousness and more can provide as a creator, like as us being in that image of creation itself. And so it's like, what I wanted to say to you earlier was how much more of what you're speaking about now that I personally, separate from the live, want to hear.
Ooh.
And this is almost like my personal challenge for you, because from what I've heard so far, and like I told you before, it's like I knew I felt a special connection to you. I was like, yo, there's something special that's gonna come through. Whatever it is, it's gonna be, right? I just stopped chasing these things, quite frankly.
Yep.
But as you speak today and everything you're speaking about, it's like not only do you have a love for wisdom, okay, it's like in your own ways you are wisdom, and this particular voice that you're speaking today, whoever I'm speaking to, because you know who it is, I need you to speak it more. And when I told you I had a gift for you today, this was my gift to you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Energy hug right now. I appreciate you so much.
Yeah.
I mean, this in and of itself is just a gift. Getting to share space with you and see you and your reflection. Again, Sierra is an OG for connecting us.
Yeah.
But legit, you and your presence, since the moment we connected, like we just have such similar vibes, similar energy. And I think you and I are both going to do some incredible work together. And this is just the beginning of
Absolutely.
creating just like what we do. This is what we do. We just share who we are and help create space for people to show up and share who they are and be free.
Absolutely. So just in case anybody knows or doesn't know what this is, this is in Mexican, in Mexican, that was so ignorant. In Spanish, this is called witch's broom. This is called witch's broom. In English, it's considered black kyanite. Now, this can do a lot of different things, but when some people have asked about the tools, I brought this today as a gift, more so to send, because when you wear something on the right, understand it's what you're pushing out, right? It's what I'm pushing out. It's not what I'm taking in. So it's on my right ear right now. So this black kyanite has the ability to not only one connect to ancestral DNA lineage, but past lives very easily. I started wearing this at the beginning of the day, knowing what I was going through on this call. It's not something I'm gonna be honest with you. I gotta say it up front. If anybody's listening to this, I would not recommend you start off with black kyanite. I'm just gonna be honest, especially if you've never worn crystals at all before. I would start much smaller because I mean you can get lost. If I'm being real, like if you're in
Yeah.
astral planes and all these other realms and what you can get lost. So it's like if you're in the beginning stages of mediumship or connecting talk with answers, I wouldn't even recommend it. I'm just gonna say it out loud as a disclaimer. But if you know you've been doing this, I would recommend you do this as like one more step, one more advancement to channeling messages. And the reason I said this is I put this on knowing that it will come towards Cyn and that somehow she would energetically pick it up. And part of what it came through for me is the speech, literally
Mm,
like a gift that you're giving out today and the style of what you're speaking about, even the what,
mm,
because it's one of those things where like I know like I see you guiding and walking with so many people
yes.
who, as a part of that, you also have such a wealth of knowledge and wisdom that it's almost like you're not able, I feel like in the constraints of everything you're in right now, able to fully speak you. And I
Mm,
see it coming more and more and more where you're going to get involved with more and more people who does speak your specific languages,
oh
okay?
yeah.
Which is
You're
more than
speaking my
one.
language right now.
Yeah, yeah, it's getting ready. I'm telling you,
Yeah, yeah.
it's getting ready because people
Mhm.
need you. Like, you're one of the guiding lights, and people need you to speak more on
Thank you.
that. So
Thank
it's coming.
thank you.
Oh, we got Shireen in here, one of our dream workers.
Oh,
Shireen,
hello, my dear.
yeah, hell yeah, y'all. She had the last live with me that was like one of those same calibers where she came on interpreting collective dreams that are
Ooh.
happening, and she said something that I need to say today because it came up again today, and I want to remind everybody the collective dream that Shireen had came out with, and it matters today with this message is at what it's like as above so below we know, right?
Yeah.
As above so below we know. What's happening is this: as below so above, and it has the dynamic has shifted, so it's
Mhm.
like the energy that I got with I believe it was this Messiah who does the balancing, all right, kind of like Libra energy in astrology,
Yep.
but as one of the seraphims it's rectification. So the poor, if you're in that bracket, you will soon become the rich. I'm telling you this very clearly.
Mm.
And the rich, especially if you got to that bracket, especially if you got to that bracket in malicious ways. All
Oh
right.
yeah.
I'm not saying there's something wrong with wealth. That's not true. Wealth is neutral as hell.
Redefining it. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's redefining it. Like ain't nothing wrong with money. Like money is just the
Yep.
energy that you put into it.
Energy.
Boom. Exactly. But if you, let's say you were energetically out of alignment with it and you're running sweatshops and shit like that, you're about to hit the bottom.
Mm.
Okay. And it's not just about money. This is about everything. If you had a dominant masculine energy, you're switching over. You're being asked to give more attention to the feminine. And this has been happening with me. Like I just finally got my tattoo. And let me
Yes,
tell
love
you,
it. So dope.
she got last night. And actually that was one of my more feminine energies guiding me back to my instinct, my raw natural instinct.
Mhm.
And so that's me coming with always being born with a tremendous, if you look at my astrology chart, I have a tremendous amount of feminine energy. Honestly, it's equal. It's 50-50 between male and female. But there was a priority with my own programs on the masculine, where I
Mhm.
had to go ahead and focus on first rewiring, releasing the karmas, rewiring those programs, understanding that it's a forever process and there's not going to be a point where I got rid of all my programs because that's not even the mission. It's not even the mission to get rid of all your programs because there's gifts that comes with what
Yeah.
you consider curses. And this has been a theme. Like if you keep feeling, oh, I'm ancestrally cursed and we have these money issues, or
The
we run in a line of family of
duality.
rape or
Cool.
whatever it is, it's like these things are switching.
Yep. Oh
They're all
yeah.
switching. So
Oh yeah.
do you have anything you want to say to us before I get into the Reiki?
No, I think we're on a groove. Let's keep going.
Okay, here we go. So here's what I'm going to do. First, I'm going to have you connect with your own guides, all right? And I do recommend that you straighten your spine. Why? You're just opening those channels. Exactly. I want you to pretend your spine is on a string, and I'm pulling the string and I'm lengthening you out. So if you were leaning, if you were slouching, you were back, I want you to open up, even if you're driving while listening, whatever it is, just straighten your spine. I want you now to just imagine that your feet, okay, are planted all the way deep rooted into the ground. As you remember the image of the dragon I showed you in the beginning, and if you weren't there, it's on screen now. And if you're not, all you need to understand from here is a white moonlight, okay, a golden white moonlight that's coming from this place, Lyra, right? So now that your feet are sealed on the ground, I want you to imagine roots beginning to sprout from your feet, digging deeper to the center of the core, moving down into that root star chakra. Different than the Muladhara, different than your root chakra. The earth star chakra, dig into the core, to where all the magma of the center of earth lies. And as you envision these vines from your own feet getting rooted deeper and deeper into the earth, I want you to latch on and understand that you're safe and you're grounded. As you imagine yourself in a safe space and whatever that presents to you. Begin to soften your breath. Notice how your breath becomes silent. Not even you should hear your own breathing as it begins to regulate itself. And now I'd like for you to ask for your guides to create an energetic shield around you and allow them to tell you what color that shield is, but notice the color. Be it blue, be it pink, be it white, be it red, notice the color. And this is the guidance that you need. This is the protection that you need personally. And with that said, I'm also myself, separate from your boundaries, separate from your energetic space. And I ask Archangel Michael to provide another extra blue layer of protection. Beautiful. And from here, far, far away behind you, I'd like for you to imagine a sparkle in the sky. As that sparkle, that divine spark begins to rip wide open. And through there, the two angels that came to us today begin to descend from this divine spark, remaining far, far away from you. As you notice this white golden dragon also exit through this divine spark into your reality. And as they begin to approach, I want you to notice their energetic shields, but they're still miles and miles and miles away. And just take notice of the color of their shield and what they present. As you soften the tension in your jaw, you allow your ears to melt, you allow your shoulders to drip, while your spine stays straight. They're officially 10 miles away. Notice the shift in energy. Notice that your orb is your orb, and they may never enter your space without your permission. As they come closer, they're now 5 miles away. As the dragon begins to circle counterclockwise, aiding in the deprogramming, and the angels get closer, 1 mile away. Imagine a golden white light, with your permission, opening the causal and the causal chakras, as it beams and pierces completely through you, down to the roots of our earth. Notice the shift in intensity. Notice the wave of vibrations at a molecular level, allowing you to transcend and shift your perspective and your consciousness as a whole to a more universal and systemic place. As the angels are now 10 steps away, they pause. And with your permission and your permission alone, you should take one last notice of the color of your shield that your guides have offered you. If you need clarity, you may ask, with a slight smile on your face for the acknowledgement of this healing moment. of this transcendent upload. Take notice of their energetic shields and what color may be there. Take notice and inventory of any smells, of the wind, of the birds, of the cars, of the noise in your background. As that background noise fades out, know that inside your space you are safe. And with your permission, you may energetically give a yes or give a no as we get prepared to release. As we get prepared to heal. And if you say yes, both angels, Mahasia, Ibayamia, begin to place their hands on your shoulders. Notice the shift in your energy. As your two energetic and auric fields begin to fuse into one. You are now one. They're here to guide you. And they're here to walk with you. You have one focus, to return to the breath. The soft, quiet, and easy breath. With a slight smile on your face as you get ready to transcend. And their angel wings begin to open far and wide as they swiftly close you in. Healing, guiding, upgrading, downloading, releasing your karmic dues and ties. Michael is here as the chariot to help bring and push you forward after adversity. As you are already past the death and rebirth cycle, this is what comes next. The healing and your presence here is a part of your reward to yourself. As the dragon from Lyra begins to shift and move clockwise, signifying the reprogramming, is the golden light, the golden white light, and the feminine moon energy. And the center of Helios begins to charge you, upgrade you, acknowledge you, bless you, and free you. Notice the temperature of your body. Notice the shift of your inner world and your space. As you sit effortlessly and with ease, notice the slight smile on your face. For you are free. For you are safe. In the cocoon of these wings, with the protection of your dragons, with the guidance from your guides, you are free. You are more than loved. You are beyond the light. You have become the light. As you ease the tension from your jaw, and your ears continue to melt, notice the shifts. Notice the shifts. Notice the shifts. And the angel wings slowly begin to open at a pace full of ease, affirmation, and confirmation that you are healed, that you are loved, and that the process continues. One finger at a time, they begin to lift their fingers. They begin to release and let go. But know that they are always close and ready to return at your command, with your permission. They step away 2 miles as the wings flap. They step away 10 miles as they return to their divine spark, waiting, ready, not only for your revival, but for your request for them to return. Notice the color of your energetic and auric field now. Notice the vibrancy, the lightness of heart, the freeness of your mind. Notice the shifts. As they return to the spark, you slowly return to your body by wiggling your toes. And wiggling your fingers. At your pace, when you are ready, you may return to your body. You may return to this space. As you open your eyes at your pace, notice the difference in color, the vibrations of energy, the presence of sound, the presence of self. As you slowly move side to side, roll your neck, and embrace what's next.
Beautiful. That was so divine. I have a big collective message for those people who are just starting out on their mediumship journey and learning how to connect with their gifts. Metatron comes through as a guide to support you. And so start to call in and connect with Metatron. If this is the first time hearing that word, hopefully it sends a vibrational resonance through your heart and through your soul. But Metatron comes to you all with this divine source of wisdom of continuing to tap into your gifts through celebration. Choose joy and celebration. We can tend to do this work in a hard way. We can tend to be very heavy and hard on ourselves. So try to embrace the journey with curiosity and that inner child spirit who once had these gifts so readily accessible to them.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I'm happy you say that. It's one of the things that I really have to like come back and remember for myself. It's like, it doesn't have to be so stressful. You know, like, it's like, it's your birthright to just embrace ease. Like, I mean, somehow, some way, we're all getting closer and closer to the place of surrender. And in that place, there's nothing left to do.
Hands up, roller coaster ride.
Hands up.
Have fun.
Basically, just watch and observe. I mean, that's where in some ways, we're just observing, you know, the process. So from there, really, I just want to let you know a little bit about what happened. Just take inventory of what you saw, what you smelled. If you want to share it in the chat, feel free. Each and every aspect, you know, even the smallest minute of details, there's a message, and you can ask for clarity. All right. First, acknowledge that message, like Cyn was saying and recommending. Celebrate the fact that you got the message. Celebrate yourself for being here. All right. Like, literally celebrate yourself for being here. You just, this is a power of the internet, the power of the age of Aquarius. It's like, you didn't need to go book a service to do exactly that. You just had to energetically align and put yourself in the right space. Bring yourself here at the right time.
Yep.
From that celebration, it's like, you know, resonate with the energy, and then, you know, ask for clarity if you need more. And keep it that simple.
Yep.
Also, the final thing I wanted to let you know is like, give this 4 days at a minimum of everything that just happened, because so much more happened than like what consciously we can like comprehend, usually right away. And up to like 7 days, you know, anytime you go get a healing from anybody, it's like, don't expect immediate results or instant gratification.
It's moving from your subconscious into your conscious awareness to now play with it, engage with it, explore it. And again, from that space of curiosity and grace, right?
Absolutely. So from there, this feels like a good point to just let you go off. I would recommend you take some space for yourself. And what I want to say from here is, Cyn, do you have anything that you want to finish off with them and say, or was the Metatron that message that they needed?
Yeah, I would just say, you know, all of us came together, just as you were saying, intentionally in this moment to experience something collectively. We are all guiding and being guided. So as you are going through your journey and experiencing the shifts collectively that we all are going through, there's always a source of truth and community that surrounds you. So as we are shifting into that feminine essence of communal energy, communal healing, know that between P and I, you've got a great source of community to support you and celebrate you. So we're here for you.
Absolutely. So definitely reach out. I'm getting ready to press the live stream ending here, if it lets me do such a thing. Check the pinned comment, all right? Or you can also check the description of this video itself, and you're going to see Freedom Home Philosophy. Like I said, you know, Cyn does her own Reiki sessions that I highly recommend you go ahead and you check it out when the time is right for you. And the Instagram as well of Freedom Home Philosophy is in the chat. I do not believe that it's going to let me end it from here, which means that I'm going to have to press end on Zoom, which is cool at the same time. So thank you. See you soon.
Thank you. So good to see you.